Hello everyone, this is Wonder Woman Warrior Battle, set number 76075. It has 286 pieces and currently retails for $30. And it contains Ares, little airplane build, a Wonder Woman figure, and some accessories. So let's get started with the Ares figure. And here's the Ares figure, the main build of the set, and the reason why I bought it. As you can see, its detail is similar to a minifigure, but this is the second time that LEGO has done this. The first time being in the Captain America airport battle set with Ant-Man as the giant figure. However, that set was too expensive, which was why I didn't buy it. So I ended up getting this one because it was cheaper, and I think this figure does look better than the Ant-Man one. Now, because it's detailed after a minifigure, it has pretty much the same posability as a minifigure does too. However, the arms are on ball joints, so they move a lot more freely than a minifigure's does, and the wrists also articulate simply because of their construction. And as you can see, Ares comes equipped with a sword and a big shield, as well as this big, evil, menacing deer or cow. I think it's more of a cow head for a helmet. And as you can see, his chest is all done with stickers, detailing his pecs, his abs, his belts, and whatever you can call that. His face, however, is printed, and it is a very nice print, showing off his mean, evil eyes with some detail for cheekbones and some detail for some eyebrows. And as you can also see, the jaws of this cow are also on ball joints, so they can be posed as you wish, as is these horns. They're made using insect leg pieces and are attached on little clips. So they bend up, they bend down, and they can twist. While I like to try and keep them all the way down as it completes the look of the cow head, moving the arm up all the way does kind of move that around as well. But that's why they move, is to excuse me, completely free up the posability. Now on the back, there's not much to see. All of it is anti-studs. There's no sticker detail that would imply back printing, which is a little disappointing, but it doesn't bother me all that much. And one last detail that I think is kind of cool is that his legs have detail that is meant to, what I believe is meant to represent boots, which is very interesting, as it could represent dual molded legs on a figure, but they even have these spikes coming out, which add a nice little bit of texture. So, with Ares out of the way, let's move on to the airplane. And here is the airplane build, which is supposed to represent a World War I German Eindecker. Eindecker meaning one wing. And that one wing is decently sized. It's got a rather simple build for an engine in the front with a little sticker to represent whatever those are on the inside. Stud shooters in place of where the machine guns would be, and they do shoot with quite a bit of force. In the back you've got the little cockpit for the pilot figure to sit, and I'm going to take him out. You've got a basic print, that is a basic print of gauges, which could represent anything, but I think it's appropriate considering that it's an airplane. You get this one brown piece that I guess is supposed to represent the back of a seat, and these star stickers on the wings and on the tail fin, all stickers, those aren't prints, and the fin itself can move because it's connected by clips. And then the AG-16 and the JR-90 are also stickers, and on the bottom all you have are these flick fire missiles, which is interesting to see in a set like this, as I haven't seen these in a few years because they've gone on to the stud shooters and the spring-loaded shooters. And you also get to see the landing gear, which is made out of their new wheel piece that they've used on their wheelchairs mostly until this point, but now they're using it for airplanes, and I think it's appropriate considering the real-life equivalent of this plane, which should pop up right here, just as a reference. And then there's a smaller wheel back here which doesn't have a tire. These have tires. And they all roll along nicely, so it makes for a nice smooth landing when you're swooshing it around and you want to put it back down. It's got a simple, mostly tan color scheme with navy blue highlights for the logos. And then the bottom continues that tan look, but it's mostly anti-studs, and it shows off some of the ways in which this plane was built. But it's a simple plane build, but I actually really like it. It's nice and sturdy. You could probably drop it. I'm not going to, and it would hold together rather nicely. It's fairly detailed considering the real-life equivalent it's supposed to represent. And it is very swooshable. It is very fun to swoosh around and, I guess, reenact scenes from the Wonder Woman movie, because this plane does appear in the film. Don't worry, I do plan on spoiling some things from that movie later in this video, but I'll give you a warning before I do that. But for now, let's move on to the two minifigures. And to start off with the minifigures, we have the Wonder Woman figure herself, and this is a very, very nice figure, in my honest opinion, with a very good print for that shield, which is just the Captain America shield, but in medium gray. Pop that back in. Her other accessory is just a gladius. It's not meant to represent the sword that she had in the film, which is mildly disappointing, but I don't think they were willing to make a new mold for a simple one-off set as a tie-in to a movie. Her hairpiece is in brown, which is interesting considering how most other Wonder Woman figures before her have had her hair in black. And I would think her hair is black in the film, but I might have to go see it again. Her little crown, whatever you call that, is printed onto her head, and that amazing detail goes down onto her body, which shows off the, I guess, bird logo there, and the little W looking symbol around her waist. And those gold parts are reflective, so they do shine, and they also shine on her boots, which is very nice. And then you've got her skirt, which is in a light blue, which I like because it really pops, it really stands out. And that detail continues onto the sides, where you'll also find her famous gauntlets on this arm and this arm. The legs are not dual molded, which is bizarre. I would think for a character with boots they would dual mold her legs to some degree, but they're solid red and they just print on the flesh colors. Now let me take off her hairpiece. And amazing detail on the back, detailing her weapons strap, which was also on the front. Little bit of a shoulder blade detail there, and more of that W design. And as you can see, she does have two faces, one with a little smirk, and one that's a little bit more serious or angry, more like her battle face, so you can recreate the fights, the amazing fight scenes in that movie using this figure. Now let's move on to the other figure. And here is the only other minifigure in this set, Steve Trevor, and in my opinion the more disappointing of the two, but by no means a bad figure. As you can see, his accessories are two pistols, even though he never wields two pistols in the movie, to my memory anyway. His hairpiece is okay. I believe it's the same one they've used for Superman, just in a different color. His face is plain, and that's because it's a reused face that Lego had used on Captain America and Hawkeye minifigures for some of their other sets, and as such it only vaguely represents how he looked in the film. His chest printing, however, is very nice, with his turtleneck sweater. I guess that's a vest with a nice big belt, a shiny belt buckle, and then a big olive green coat with some little shine on the buttons in the top there. You can see pockets off to the sides. His collar is a little out. He looks a little ruffled up, like he's been through some stuff. And that print continues onto the back, showing that it is a like a fur coat with another little detail for a back buckle. I don't know what you call that. And it's got nice wrinkle detail around about there. Nothing on the arms, nothing on the legs. If I take this off, he does have a scared or maybe a confused expression on his face. And he also comes with a simple pilot helmets so you can have him be safe while he's flying the plane, and you can put the goggles down. But yeah, that's all that there is for him. And I just realized I had forgotten to mention in the previous figure, Wonder Woman also comes with a hood and a cape, so you can have her in her disguise. So let me just quickly put that on her. And there she is in her hood and her cloak, which I think is supposed to be a robe, but it's a cloak. And it's in a nice navy blue color. The cloak is not the new soft cloth, which is a little disappointing. It's the more papery cloth, but I say she looks pretty good in that. So anyway, let's move on to the final verdict on this set. So, overall, I think this is a fantastic set, relatively inexpensive, and you get quite a bit with it, quite a bit of interesting stuff. I do love the Ares figure, because I never got the Ant-Man figure, and this is a fairly accurate representation of a German Eindecker, being that this set takes place in World War I, so it seems appropriate. Some of the issues I have with this set go a little bit into spoilers for the Wonder Woman movie. So if you haven't seen it, I suggest you stop watching now. Are you gone? Or do you just not care? Alright, whatever. So, the Wonder Woman spoiler is the Ares figure. In the film, Ares was never giant, he never became giant, and he never had a face like that. His face was clearly visible when Wonder Woman ended up fighting him at the end of the film. His sword also didn't look like that, and I don't believe he had a sash like he does in this set. This design of Ares is more accurate to what I've seen from the comic books, which I think is an interesting choice, but I don't think it's the first time LEGO's done that. And I'm going to assume that the reason why they chose a comic book design for Ares was because they had most likely designed this set a long time before the movie itself was actually finished. So they may have only had some concept artwork to go off of and had to kind of make it up for the rest. So what you get here is a Ares figure more accurate to the Wonder Woman comics than to the Wonder Woman movie. The plane itself is also inaccurate, but for reasons that I understand a little bit more. Mostly because LEGO themselves have stated that they'll never make anything that is explicitly based off of anything from the military, and this being a military plane used in active combat during World War I, they had to tone it down a little bit. Although, the machine guns are still there, they're just simplified to a toy form, and they've removed the German symbols from the wings and the tail fin and made them more generic, which is fine. I think the changes they did make didn't sacrifice from the overall detail of this plane too much. And that's something I'm okay with. It's somewhat similar to what LEGO had done with the Indiana Jones sets that came out a few years back. But overall, I think this is a fantastic set, and for $30, it's not that much of a bank breaker, I guess you could call it. My only issue is that you can only get this at Toys R Us or the LEGO online shop. So if you're willing to go to your nearest Toys R Us and buy it there, you go right ahead. Or if you're like me and you prefer to stay at home, you can buy it online and wait about a week for it to show up. Either way, you're getting what I believe is a fantastic set. That's all I have to say. So long, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you stay around for more videos.